Sorry for the delay. Like I said, I watched a few movies while I was on my Christmas vacation, so this is one I've been wanting to watch for quite some time and wanting to do this review, but I hadn't had a chance to watch it until I watched it on DVD during Christmas time. So this is about the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, directed by Jonathan Leesman. Directed by Jonathan Leesman, produced by Michael Bay. So this has been kind of a controversial movie in the sense that it's kind of divided Turtles fans and even my friends and family about whether or not this movie is going to be good or whether it's going to suck. And I wanted to watch this movie just to see how it was. So here's my review of it. I'm going to tell you what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and give you my verdict on whether or not you should watch it. And also, I'm going to talk about the sequel that they're already planning on doing that's going to come out in 2016. So, first I'm going to talk about what I didn't like about this movie. So, one of the things that people had talked about that I didn't think about at first when it was first announced that Megan Fox was going to be April O'Neil was the movie was just going to be all about her. And it's because she's the big mainstream star that it was going to focus too much on her. I didn't think about that, and unfortunately, the people who were saying that are kind of right. It took about 25 minutes or so till we really got the Turtles into this movie. Nice introduction, but we would like to have seen them come up earlier. And not only was she there for the beginning of the movie, she just kept on. She didn't leave in a sense that they didn't shift the focus on the Turtles after they brought them in. There was a lot of still of April and showing where she is at certain situations, what's she doing. She suffered from what I like to call the Jar Jar Binks syndrome. And by that I mean, people really hate the prequels and they say it sucks and they really hate Jar Jar Binks. But if you go to Return of the Jedi, there's some really annoying characters in that. The Ewoks. I mean, the Ewoks are just as annoying as Jar Jar Binks is in Episode 1. But people don't really revile or hate the Ewoks. And the reason I think that is because the Ewoks only show up in the last third of the movie. And they weren't focused on too much. Whereas Jar Jar Binks shows up at the beginning of the movie and then just keeps on coming up, and they keep showing him even in the battles where they're fighting against the droids on the planet. I forget the name of the planet they're on. I don't think it wasn't Tatooine. And that whole battlefield on the planet, they kept on going to Jar Jar Binks on the dumb stuff he did, and it kind of turned people off to the character. Whereas since the Ewoks weren't prevalently shown in the entire movie, they were only in the last third, it was a lot easier to take their annoyance than Jar Jar Binks. And April O'Neil is kind of in that same category. She wasn't annoying, but the fact that they kept on showing her where she at and all that, it kind of hurt her character and even Megan Fox's performance, whatever you thought about it. So I think that's the biggest issue on that. Now, my big issue was, could Megan Fox play a cool character? Like I said in my top 10 coolest animated women, April O'Neil is not a sex symbol. She is a cool character. And so my big concern was, could Megan Fox pull that off? And I have to say, no. And a little bit of yes. Here's what I mean by no. Because she was still at times the sex symbol. They're still trying to push her as, being hit on by Michelangelo and Vern. And Vern I get. I mean, it was kind of like a funny little thing with them because Vern was... Will Arnett did a good job as Vern being an a-hole. He was an a-hole. And he was funny. So I completely got that. But the whole Michelangelo, hitting on her constantly, calling her like his girlfriend and calling dibs and all that, After a while, I was like, getting it from both ends just still cements her as being like the sex symbol. But what she did do well was the reporter part. Incidentally, that was the part that I was most concerned about with her being, was she going to be a good reporter? And that first 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes, where you see her gathering information, trying to follow leads, trying to get the story, trying to figure out what's going on. She did an okay part like that. She did pretty good. It wasn't a great performance, but still pretty good. So, I didn't think she completely pulled off being the cool character, but I will admit that she tried. But the fact that she was so much in the forefront instead of the background and making the Turtles the rightful leads kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Me, even a little bit, yeah, it did. But I didn't have too much of an issue with her being there. It's just that the fact that it was too much. That's all. So now we'll go to something that's good. The Turtles themselves. I want to say something that is another thing that's kind of controversial for some people, because it's either you like it or you don't. It's the designs. I like the designs of the Turtles in this movie. They're good. I have to say, I like how they took the kind of a broad stroke of, alright, this Michelangelo's kind of like not the weakest, but not the most built of the four. He's short. He's the shortest of them. He's not as muscular. Donatello's kind of got a tall, lanky feature to him. Leonardo's very streamlined, muscular and streamlined, and Ralph's just a brute. They really showed the differences in the Turtles, even their facial features. I know some people didn't like the looks of their faces, but sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Also, I like the little things that they wore. I mean, the shades that Raphael wore. You see them moving around when he's fighting. You see him take out the toothpick when he was fighting. The fact he didn't have that much stuff on him made it really cool too. And Leonardo, he had like a very cool looking vest, almost like an old school samurai outfit you see in the movies. It looked really nice. He had the NYC button. And Donatello, the only thing he probably would have cut was the glasses. It didn't need the glasses. I like the visors because he actually used them in the movie, scanning, trying to assess situations, trying to get them where they need to go. Little I don't know what mini computer on his wrist. I like that. That was a nice touch. And also you see when they're standing in a row, you see the legs, the stuff on the legs kind of look pretty badass. They're kind of samurai outfits as well. Also Michelangelo, you got the beads as well. It gives them personality as well as the actors themselves. Not to mention, I like the motion capture. I said this in my Predator reboot thoughts. I like motion capture, and the motion capture was done well with these characters. You really felt like they were there, and that they were actually physically there for the scenes. Not always in the action scenes, because especially the snow scene you see in the trailers, it's kind of hard to do that with the actual actors there. But for the parts where they're fighting the Foot Clan and where they're talking to April, you feel like there's an actual person there. Even the fight with Shredder, it felt like an actual person was in the scene, and it was done well. I thought I really liked the Turtles themselves. Also, what I liked was, and this is something that has not been really done too well, even in the cartoons, the 80s and 90s cartoons and in the movies, is they actually looked like they came from the sewer. For some reason, I like that. I mean, the bandanas they wore, there were holes in them. They were dirty. They looked like they would never been washed. And even the bandanas themselves, like I said, there are cuts. There holes in them, and they weren't all the same. They weren't cookie cutter. Raphael like a do-rag style. You know, Michelangelo a little bit thinner than the others, and I like that. Like I said, the designs and the turtles themselves are the best part of this movie. Not to mention as well, the turtles is their relationship. You know, my and some of my family, there were four of us. We were big Turtles fans, and we were the Ninja Turtles. We chose our favorite ones. They weren't the same, so we each pretended we were one of them. And you know, when I was watching it, there were a couple times, yeah, that's him, that's him. Oh, that's me. I don't like that. So it was nice that they showed the brotherhood and the relationship with Splinter. You know, not just calling him sensei or master. They called him dad, which I thought was interesting. And their whole backstory was good, I thought. You know, the whole learning ninjutsu from a book. Yeah, it's kind of dumb, but look at the original movie. Or in the comic book. How did Splinter learn his martial arts? By being a pet of a martial arts master. He was just a pet. He was mimicking. He didn't have any training either. But it's suspension of disbelief. Come on, just enjoy yourself. And it was fun. Also, the action sequences were good. I thought I really liked the action sequences. Could they be a little over the top? Yeah, a couple times. And also, the final fight was with Shredder. The Shredders should not have been moving as much. It's kind of weird to see like him almost doing like a capoeira style, you know, a lot more like a dance instead of, you know, kind of boom boom, you know, quick strikes movements. Even with the way he would swing his arm for the throwing knives, it was kind of off at times, but not too much. I did enjoy the action sequences a lot. You know, that's one thing that this movie definitely has over the originals, is that because you don't have a cumbersome, you know, puppet outfit, you can actually get more fluid movements, because all you have to do is just have the base there of the human body and just build around it. And so now that they don't have the bulky, you know, puppeteering and having to pull strings and stuff like that, you can get more human fluid movements in the fights. I like that. And not to mention Splinter himself actually moved in this, instead of just sitting in the corner, because it's just a puppet in the original trilogy. So, yeah, there's definitely some parts where I think the CG was a little much, and at some points where the CG didn't look good, but, you know, that's just the world we live in now. I mean, stop motion and all that stuff is not always best either. So, what's my final verdict on this? There's definitely some bad in this movie, like too much April, too much of the trying to make her a sex symbol when she shouldn't be. Some CG is okay, but there's definitely some good stuff here. The camaraderie, the relationship with the Turtles, and Splinter, and, you know, the action sequences. I like that, and I like the designs of the Turtles themselves. So, what's my final verdict on it? Should you watch it? Depends. What do you want? If you're looking for the old 1990 movie, like or kind of a remake of that, or looking for the 90s or 80s Turtles, sorry, you're not going to get it. This isn't for you. This isn't for you. This isn't for our generation. This is for the new generation. Think about it. If this movie came out in 1990, we would have gone completely crazy. Thought it was the greatest movie of all time. You know, it's this generation's turn now. But I think if you're willing to go into this movie with an open mind and try and have a little fun with it, I think you'll enjoy it. It's a good movie, I think. Not a great movie, but definitely worth at least checking it out on DVD. That's what I would recommend. Rent it, Redbox it, whatever. Check it out, and if it's not your thing, at least now you know. So now on to the sequel. So first of all, let's get this out of the way. It needs less April. Get April more toward the background. Focus on the brothers. Focus on family. So the way you did do some of that with Splinter and the Turtles, him calling him Dad, but I'd like to see a little bit more. Have April get kidnapped toward the beginning, have it be something related to the mutant or whatever, and then follow the Turtles as they rescue her. It works good in the cartoons. It should work here too. Also, we need more mutants. That was one thing that the sequel and the Secret of the Ooze did well. We got a couple more mutants. Toka and Razor. I would like to see Rocksteady and Bebop, but if we get more mutants to in this the sequel, I think it'd be cool. Just see more action. And let Michael Bay direct. I know people are pissed off about him producing, but you know what? It doesn't matter if, like, I don't know if I said this in my haters club about Michael Bay, but I'm going to say it now. It doesn't matter if Michael Bay is writing, directing, starring, producing, or even freaking catering the movie. People are going to hate it just because his name's near it. So, this movie tried to be kind of like a Michael Bay movie, so let Michael Bay direct it. Why not? And also for the sequel, I'd like to see, like I said, more of the Brotherhood with the Turtles and Splinter, the family. One more thing I would like to see is set up for Dimension X. Give us Krang. We never got that in the original trilogy. Give us some Krang. How you work that out is up to you. If you want to involve Eric Sachs in that, that's fine. But those are just my preliminary thoughts about a possible sequel. So what do you think? Did you watch the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? Will you watch it? Did you like it? Did you think it sucked? Like a lot of people seem to want to hope it sucks? Or will you watch it with an open mind that this isn't for my generation, it's for this generation? So let me know what you think. I got one more review before I go to a wrestling video, and I think you might like it. Alright, later.